Hola, bienvenidos a GCSE Spanish Practice. Today, in the higher writing section, 150 words on the topic of festivals and celebrations. So this is a very important task because it is 50% of your writing exam grade. And today's question, what do you think about festivals in your country and the celebration in the future that you are looking forward to? Okay, so how do we go from yes, we celebrate Christmas, it is nice, and I would like to go to La Tomatina in Spain because it is fun. That is not 150 words, is it? But this is 192. Sorry, I went a bit overboard. So how do we get from 0 to 2 full paragraphs full of stuff that we can say, develop, and get top marks? If you're ready, I can walk you through it. Okay, vamos. All right, so I'll show you again the question. Okay, maybe I'll pause a little bit and explain how I got to 192 words. We can work through the more questions, so I'll show you what I said and why I said it. And then we can look back to it and say, okay, so this is good. We can get top marks for communication, language, and accuracy because of these reasons. Then you can work on your answers if you want to, and you can type in your answer in the comments and I can take a look at it if you wish, okay? And then there are some reminders about your writing exam in the comment section if you want to check them out. Sorry, not the comment section, the description. Okay, so you are writing a post about festivals and celebrations. Write approximately, that means minimum of 150 words in Spanish. Say what you think about festivals in your country, the celebration in the future that you are looking forward to. I just want to make clear that this is not taken from any past papers. This is something original that I created for this video for this purpose to help you, okay? If there are any other things that you would like me to help you with, please pop it in the comments, let me know, and just follow and subscribe for more videos. Here we go. Working through a model question, what did I do? First of all, I sit down and I write down 7 old rat, which is 7 lines per bullet point, roughly, because of my handwriting. Maybe you need fewer lines or more lines. And then the old rat acronym, which helps me remember that I must include these things, okay? So opinions, a variety of language, developing means saying as much as possible, okay, as much as possible about an idea. So obviously don't say I like cats, say I like cats because I like to play with them, they're very nice, they're a lot of fun, developing. Reasons, 2 opinions, we need reasons. So I like cats because they're fun. Always, okay? Do not let an examiner wondering to themselves why, okay? Do not give them the opportunity. The accuracy is the big part of this. So when you finish your piece of writing, you have to go and check, okay? Or maybe not the whole piece of writing, maybe each paragraph, check, okay? For adjectives, for verbs, for accents, etc. And then tenses. We are going to need a variety of language, which also means by adding different structures like past, present, future, and other complicated, more complex stuff to aim for a grade 9. By adding those, okay, we'll have all the bases covered. Now, when I'm talking about senses and sophisticated language, I'm going to show you a free resource in a second. But the next bit that we need to do is each of the bullet points, we're going to split it into 2, okay? So instead of saying, what do you think about festivals in your country? We have Christmas. This is what I said at the beginning of the video. I'm going to think about, okay, so this is what we have, Christmas. This is another festival that I can think of in the UK that I went to. And one story, telling something about it, okay? Narrating, saying something. What did I do in that festival? Okay, so my first 7 lines are going to be about that. There will be opinions, there will be reasons, okay, to justify those opinions. But in a nutshell, I'll write down old rat and then I'll go first bullet point, 1, 2 things. The second bullet point, a celebration in the future that you're looking forward to, I must make sure that I bring in a past tense as well because I have the present and then the future here. So it's very easy to bring in a past tense by telling about a story, okay? So I am doing that here. I'm going to tell them about this one occasion I went to this festival, but also when I was little, I wanted to do this, but now in the future, I want to do that instead, okay? So very easy to do. So I split this one into a description of a celebration, okay, that I am going to go. So when, who with, why, so developing. And then an ideal situation in the celebration, okay, that is just like a final line as an excuse to add in a C clause, okay, which is something we always want to do. So a C clause, like for example, in this completely free resource, let me delete those lines, okay. So number one, si pudiera, me gustaría plus infinitive, okay? So things like that. I will use some of the sentences here. The link to the free resource is in the description box. All right, so let's crack on. The first bullet point, here we go. I always like to start with something general, okay? And then that gives like a feeling, that sets the tone. The examiner will be like, yeah, interesting. One sentence. Muchas personas dicen que en Reino Unido no hay muchos festivales. Many people say that in the UK there aren't many festivals, which is something that I heard over the years for teaching. Like, Miss, I don't know what festivals. Okay, so there we go. Pero, en mi opinión, there we go, opinions straight away. No es verdad, but in my opinion, that's not true. Okay, great way to start. And then we go with the personally, I think, which I love. Personalmente, pienso que la celebración más famosa es la Navidad. I think that the most famous, popular celebration is Christmas, pero para mí no es la más interesante. But for me, that is not the most interesting one, porque es demasiado comercial, because it is too commercial, okay? Too popular in a way. Sin embargo, and that's my first point covered here, one festival. Sin embargo, encuentro interesantísima, okay, side notes, adjectives with ísimo or ísima is something we do in Spanish and other Romance languages. It's like a very extremely, so it makes the adjective extremely, okay, it's more than very. So interesantísima means incredibly interesting, okay, rather than muy interesante. That is a 2 points vocab for you to add, okay? That's really good. Sin embargo, going back to it, sin embargo, encuentro, I find extremely interesting the celebration of the arrival of the summer, la celebración de la llegada del verano y también del invierno, and also the winter, en el monumento de Stonehenge, ¿vale? In Stonehenge, ¿sí? ¿Sí? We know where it is? Yeah, south of England, en Inglaterra. Cuando era pequeña, bringing in the past, so I described this one festival that is also interesting, and now I'm going to tell a story. Cuando era pequeña, mi familia y yo fuimos allí. When I was little, my family and I went there y jugamos toda la noche, and we played all night long para celebrar el verano, to celebrate the summer. Cuando vimos el sol por la mañana, when we saw the sun in the morning. Fue una experiencia inolvidable. It was an unforgettable experience. Okay, so that's lovely. That's 91 words. We have 60 to go, but we can go over it, and I will go over it, in fact. Okay, so once I've done this part and I checked, I crossed out my bullet points on the side, in the margin of my writing paper. Also, I know I said 7 lines, but 7 lines here on the computer do not really match my handwriting, okay? So that's what's more, also because I want to give you a good model. Now, moving on to the second paragraph. I checked the accuracy, it's all accurate. Good, moving on. This one's been done. The second bullet point, I said I'm going to describe a celebration I want to go to. I am looking forward to going. And then an ideal situation in the celebration as an excuse to use a C clause, okay? So, siempre me ha encantado, this comes from the help sheet that you'll find the link to in the description box. Siempre me ha encantado celebrar mi cumpleaños con mi familia. I have always loved to celebrating my birthday with my family and friends rather than saying I love, okay? It is much better, it shows a different tense, it's really good. Pero este año va a ser especial. But this year it is going to be special porque acabo de terminar los exámenes. Because I have just finished. This is what it means. So the structure acabo de plus infinitive means I have just done something, okay? So use it because it is very impressive. So I just finished my exams. Y por eso, and for this reason, es una doble celebración. It is a double celebration. Now, that's a bit of an introduction. I want to say when, who with, why. Okay. Mis padres han organizado, my parents have organized una fiesta en casa con mis abuelos, mis tíos y mis primos. So they have organized a party at home with my relatives, grandparents, uncle, aunties, cousins. What are we going to do? Vamos a comer algo rico, something nice, okay? Something tasty, something nice. Y después, and after that, vamos a ir en coche a la playa donde me esperan mis amigos para una fiesta sorpresa. A ver, there's lots of complexity here, lots of detail. So after that, we're going to go by car to the beach where my friends are waiting for me. Me esperan, they're waiting, my friends, okay? So my friends are waiting for me for a surprise party, para una fiesta sorpresa. How nice, no? Bueno, so donde me esperan is where they wait for me. And this is complex grammar. It makes the text flow. Okay, so whenever possible, use it the same way you would do in your English essays. Now, super trick for you. Me muero de ganas por plus infinitive. Me muero de ganas por saber qué han preparado. I am dying to know what is it that they've prepared. Okay, so I really want to know. Me muero de ganas means I am really looking forward to something. Okay, so me muero de ganas por terminar los exámenes means I can't wait to finish my exams. Bueno, so this person really wants to know what they have prepared. And then the ideal situation, okay, I'm done with this. The ideal situation as an excuse to always use this structure. Si fuera posible, me gustaría o me encantaría, okay? Always use it, please. Si fuera posible, me encantaría, plus infinitive, descubrir que mi cantante favorito está en la fiesta. If it were possible, I would love to discover that my favorite singer is at the party, but eso sería solo un sueño. But that would only be a dream. Pero eso sería solo un sueño. Okay, so all done. How many words? 101, just this part. So adding all together, 192. Lots of really good bits here. We made sure we covered all the bullet points, okay? Without doing that, it's 2 bullet points, really. Without doing that, there's no way you can access top marks for content. At least 150 words. If you go over, examiners will continue marking. Although I have to say, the more you write, the more mistakes you might make. Okay, so you're more likely to make mistakes, and that affects your language. So please just stay below 200, I would say. What we say is clear. Okay, obviously it is a model text, but I haven't used anything massively complicated here. And then ideas are consistently developed. Yes, why? Because we have good planning, okay? Good planning is key. Do that. 7 all right, and then splitting into 2 bullet points each of the original bullet points is going to save you lots of time thinking, oh, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Okay? Language, we avoid repetition. Yes, we do, okay? And using complex sentences like the ones you can see in blue. These are examples, okay? Me muero de ganas por saber, okay, siempre me ha encantado celebrar. And the tenses that we brought in, we have the past here, even though it wasn't required by the bullet points per se. And then just honor it is the last time you're writing a piece of work for your GCSE Spanish. So check your work, check for verb endings, missing accents, adjectives, etc., etc. All right, so all of this is done. This is a really good piece of work. So the old rat is happy. And now, can you do it yourself? Let me know in the comments, okay? Let me see if you have maybe a different suggestion for the 2 mini bullet points for each of the bullet points, okay? How would you do it? Right, so I really hope that this was helpful. Good luck for your exams. They're just around the corner. Adiós y muchas gracias.